אליך אני כעת במשעול ההווה.
Came to be CSarah. Maybe one can say. I once saw a mashal from Rav Dessler, says a mashal about life, about time in life. Is a relationship between time and the actions and everything a person does in life in his nefesh. He says, a mashal. You have a whole world. And on the map, this world, every point on the map is another city. So you take a piece of paper and cover up the map. But take a pin and make a pinhole in the map. Maybe a little bit bigger than a pinhole. And now you can go with the map, with this piece of paper, you move around, you see one nekuda, see one point. That point is a whole city. You move it to another place, you see another point, it's another city. And like that, slowly you can go through the whole map, but it will take you some time. Then, lift up the piece of paper. You lift up the piece of paper, you see again, you see the whole world in one shot. So this is his mashal on life and time. When a person is living, every minute is a bria b'fnei atzmo. It's a creation in itself every minute. And what you do with it depends what you do with it. If it will become part of infinity, of netzach, or it will be lost forever. I always say, it's like one says, every place where it says, or usually when it says, Vayehi, it's a tzar. It's a tzara. Vayehi is a tzara. And the opposite, V'hoya, is lashon simcha, happiness. Now, you only have this in Hebrew. You don't have this in another language. I think I'm not a baki in all the languages. That the tenses change. Hoya is past, and you put a vav in front of V'hoya, and it becomes future. It will be. On the other hand, Yehi is future, and you put a vav in front of it, Vayehi, it becomes past. So what's the pshat? Vayehi is sad, is a tzara. V'hoya is simcha. You know why? We live in the world of time. What we have in front of us is the future. The future is going to become the past, or it's going to become the real future. If our past is turned into future, how's it turned into future? It's what we do with the time. The word, I'm going to explain in a second, the word time itself in Hebrew is fascinating. It reminds of another word. Zman. What else is Zman? You have Hazmana. What's
Invitation.
What?
Invitation.
No.
Designation.
Designation.
Hazmana is designation. Hazmin.
So it also means to invite.
To invite, well, because we invite,
designating him as a guest.
You're preparing. The invitation is a preparation to another. You're inviting him. You're preparing him to come to a simcha. It's for the future. It's a preparation to be at a certain simcha.
Preparation.
But the hazmin is basically hazmin is to prepare something. So zimun, birchat zimun. What's birchat zimun? Before benching, it's a preparation to bench. So what is time? The purpose of time is because life in this world is a trip. And when you go on a trip, what you prepare in the trip, when you get to your designation, that's what you'll have. What you didn't prepare, you won't have. That this life is a preparation for Olam Haba. So now let's get back. If you use the time properly, so your past was a proper preparation, so it's for the future. Ein v'hoya ela lashon simcha. We have the capacity to turn the past into the future. That's simcha. Because if we do use it for the Ritzon Hashem, so we put it away, we deposit it let's put it in it's a company, it's called a closed account or whatever it's called, closed deposit. It's a pikodim for the future. That's v'hoya. If you don't use it properly, so the future which was in your hand previously has now become past. It's gone. You can't retrieve it. Is vayehi to change the future into the past? That's atzur. If the future just became past, the past is not here anymore. To change the past, v'hoya, to change the past into the future, that's simcha. How do we change the past into the future? Because we use it correctly. So now, let's go back to the marshal of the map. So every point of time, if you use it correctly, you're putting it away for the future. It's a whole world. We don't see that here. Schar mitzvah mitzvah. The reward for the mitzvah is the mitzvah itself. The little things that we do in time becomes a netzach. We do a mitzvah for 1 minute, but from that 1 minute is born a seed of infinity. So it's a whole world. It's like the point on the map. But that's only one part of life. Every point in life is one part. So we only see 1 point at a time. But after Me'ah V'Esrim, after 120, so life, when we're under the world of time, it's like moving over a world, point. But after Me'ah V'Esrim, one lifts up the piece of paper, and then you see your whole life in one shot, because all those points of time are gathered together, and that's who you are. You are the product of the combined points of time which we use properly. That's what you have. And here I go back to the pasuk. Vayiyu Chayei Sarah. Vayiyu, they became a whole entity. The life of Chayei Sarah came together, believing that this world. That's why every person, and that it's the life. We're not talking. The leaving of this world is not Misa. It was the life. Life came to its tachlis. We have to be mispalel Vayiyu Chayei Sarah. That the life should come together, that all the points of life to come together to make a whole entity. That's what, and every person is what he used his time, all the points of time together, they come together at the end of life, they come together, and that's his Olam Haba, that's his eternity which he created. This is a remez that the Misa is only in the Guf. No, Chaim says something here. I don't remember exactly, but Thomas Sora B'Kiryat Arba Hi Hebron. The Misa is in the Guf is Mechuba. Stam Tassaring that the Torah uses different languages and says different things at the same time. A person lives in Kiryat Arba. We all live in Kiryat Arba, the city of 4. Who's the city of 4? Hi Hebron, the combination of 4 Yesodis. The Rambam says that everything in this world is combined has a certain amount in different balances. Eish, Ruach, Mayim off of fire, water, air, and earth. That's where the Misa is in the Guf. The Nefesh remains after Me'ah V'Esrim. The Asharas HaNefesh, the Nefesh continues. And what is in the Misa? In Misa, everything goes back. Life is that everything's combined together. In Misa, everything goes back to its source. That's the disintegration of everything, like decay, goes back, it decompiles, the tziruk decompiles, and each thing goes back to its source. So that's the pasuk. Thomas Sarah the Kiryat Arba. The group is the Kiryat Arba, the Arba Yesodis, the 4 foundations of everything, which, by the way, he Hebron. Hebron is from the word, which word does Hebron remind us in Hebrew? Chibur. What is Chibur? The compilation, the compiling things together, right? That's where the Misa is. All right.
The Neshama is like the 5th element?
The Neshama is not an element. The Neshama is separate. That's the Etzim of it. The Guf is a Levush. The Misa is not Kal on the Neshama. The Neshama, like we said, the Misa, death is not the Pshat, any that the Neshama changes. In Amkis, death is like, if one person Bishleim is, it's a change of clothes. It's like you change pajamas at night. You put on your clothes in the morning. The Guf, the Neshama had one levush in Olam Hazeh, and now it's poshet this levush, poshet this levush. It takes off its clothes from this world, and now it enters a different state of ruchnius. So the Misa is the hafroda of the Neshama from the Guf. And so the Misa is in the Guf, but the Guf is chayzel off. But the Neshama, nothing happened. The Neshama is the same Neshama. That's what Rav Yisrael Salanta stresses in his poem, of Musa, that he says, a person has to know, a person thinks kilu, when he say, the Yetzirah bluffs a person, and he speaks about the concept that there's an einish, which is also part of Amunah. There's a concept of a schar, after 120, reward, and there's a concept of punishment. But the person tends to think, all right, that's the next world, that's somebody else in the next world. That's not me. So one has to know that the same ani, the same I, today, that senses, that has the concept of pleasure and pain, that has wishes and has disappointments, that same I that's the I. That I doesn't change. After me, it's the same I. The same I experiences after Misa as well, just without a guf, but experiences tanug and the opposite, pain and pleasure. It's the same I. It's not a different I. That's how Rabbi Yisrael puts it in his poem. He says, Echad hu, oisa ha'aveira v'hanenash. It's one and the same. The one that does the Aveira receives the punishment. It's not that you do the Aveira here and you get the punishment there. Like it's there it's a different thing. It says Echadhu. Don't let the CSarah bluff you that it's two different entities. After Misa it's something else. The I, which is there's only one I, and it's the same I. The I is now dressed up in a physical body, and afterwards the I departs from the physical body. Echadhu oisa ha'aveira v'hanenash. It's one and the same. More, he says, the Onshim of Kodesh Baruch Hu are not very geschmack. More, they're bitter. He says, Al yoyma ha'odom, the person shouldn't bluff himself to say, Zeh chayli, this is my sickness, I have this fault. The person has to know that he has to work on himself to change his faults. He shouldn't say, Zeh chayli, I have it, not everybody's healthy. I have a sickness in this area in Ruchnias. I'll carry it with me, I can carry it. Says a person, that's how the CSarah loves the person. Nobody's perfect. This is my machla. That we're here in this world to work and to change, and with everything that we didn't change till today. I mentioned it many times, the Russian language of the Gra, that what is life all about? Ike, from the Sefer Mishlei, Ike chiyut ha'adam. The reason why a person is alive is to break the midah that he didn't break till today. The reason why a person is alive, if he's not shover on his midot, he doesn't have a purpose of being in this world. The purpose in this world is shvirat hamidot. The mishba hamida, to break the midah that he didn't break till today. Everybody, how can we say we're all prisoners? Everybody's a prisoner in something else, things that he didn't work on. We're all prisoners. And the tachlis of life is to become less a prisoner, to work on those areas, not to strengthen yourself where you're strong, but to work to attack the areas where you have to work. Everybody has places where he has to work. And you don't have to look for them, because usually the hashgacha, since the tachlis of life is nisayon, the hashgacha sends already the nisayons. But you just have to realize that it's a nisayon and decide to tackle it. To tackle it and not to run away from the Nisayon or to give in to Nisayon. And that's perhaps what we get. There's a statement here in Chazal, Yofa Sichosim. If we're here in the yeshiva, this is perhaps the place to say it. Yofa Sichosim Shel Avos Yoise Mitarason Shel Bon. The Sicha that the Eved of Aaron Eliezer.
Avdei Avos.
Yochas Sichos is Avdei Avos, right? The Sichos, and I feel even the Eved of the Avos. Sichos that here the Torah is Marek Parshiyas and goes over whatever Eliezer Eved Avraham says, and many dinim. So we have Parshiyot Shleimot, and many dinim are in Merumas in the Torah only with a Kutza Shayud, only with an extra vav or a missing vav. Like I just saw this morning, the Yachal Voroi with a vav. Says the Chachamim darshan that if a person makes a nether, you can be matter the nether. And who has to be matter the nether? Even if he's a Chacham, he can't be matter his own nether. Only a Chayrim Meichim. Where do we know it from? Says the Ran, Dvoroi. Vayachel Dvoroi. He can't be machel his dover. Dvorim Shaloi. The Zarem is that a Chayrim Meichim was somebody is something. It's not Dvoroi. The Chacham can matter somebody else does. So this whole din, we learn from above. And here, what's the idea? What's the reason for this? He says, I saw a Perush. The way of serving Hashem changed after Matan Torah and before Matan Torah. The Avos, they were working at their actions in this world, in this physical world, when they did it, the Shem Shemayim was created from this Torah. This created Torah, like we see the Torah was marach to show the cheshivas of the others. They did actions, material actions, but they did it for the sake of Hashem. They did it as avodah, and from their avodah became Torah. To show the godless of their avodah, so the Torah's marach made a long Torah that their avodah was so chashuv. But our avodah is not to make from Gashmias Torah. Our after Matan Torah, the main kli, the main vessel for revealing the will of Hashem and the way to serve Hashem, to become close to Hashem, is through the toiling and the study of Torah. And Chazal expressed this. So the opposite, the Torah wrote in Kitzur, it's our job, the opposite. The Torah made from their actions, the Torah made Torah, so made a long Torah, but the halacha, the Torah wrote the other way around. The Torah wrote it in Kitzur, in short, because it's in order for us to be a gay of the Torah. The main mitzvah of Torah is not the knowledge of Torah, it's the difficulties in studying Torah. The mitzvah of Torah is ameila shel Torah. The more difficult it is, the greater the kedusha that comes to the person through the study of Torah. It's the yigiyah of the Torah, to show, to reveal the depths of Torah. That's the main thing. And where do we see this from? Because Chazal say mufulash, they bring a pasuk. Adam, more in Sanhedrin that Tzadik Tes, which is astonishing. You think Adam la'amo yulad pasuk, that you can't escape nobody, even the richest man in the world who doesn't have to work. But it seems after the Chet of Adam Rishon, nobody can escape this. He has Amal. If he doesn't have it through work, he has it working in some other way. Adam le'amal yulad. What's the meaning of this pasuk? Man was born
to work.
How do you say?
Man was born to work. To labor.
To labor, to toil.
To toil.
You can't escape it. No, what kind of toiling? Perhaps to build buildings, maybe to work in the field. The Pasuk does say such a thing. It says, "Any yodea," the Chazal continue, "Any yodea," if it's la'amul malacha, or if it's amul sicha. I know, maybe it means even in mitzvahs. They bring a pasuk that it has to be amul peh, the mouth. And afterwards, they say even with the mouth, what kind of a thing? Till it brings from Yeshua, Hashem says Yeshua, "Yomush sefer ha'teira hazeh mipi." Chazak ba'amot, so yomush sefer ha'teira. The person was born for toiling of the mouth. Which toiling of the mouth? The study of Torah. That yigiyah b'teira. The Emetz Chazal say it explicitly. It's known to Chazal. But Rasi, with the Mesillas Yesharim brings down. But Rasi, the purpose of a person in this world is to conquer the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, which leads us off the path into the stray. Right? How we can say that man is born with a terminal illness, and he's going towards his death of this terminal illness. The main illness is the Yetzer Hara. And the doctor who created man is a doctor, he says he has a special potion, a special drug that can cure this terminal illness. That is the only drug available that can cure this illness. What's the name of this drug? The name of this drug is Yigiyah B'Teira. But Rasi Yetzer Hara, Hashem says, I created a disease called Yetzer Hara. But I created a potion that cures this disease. But Rasi Torah Tavlin. As an eitz, as a solution for the Yetzer Hara, I created the Torah. That means, he says, if a doctor who knows the disease tells the chayla to take a certain drug, and the chayla won't listen to the doctor, we try all other solutions, bevadai, at the end of the time, will die from the disease. He doesn't listen to the doctor who knows what's the potion, what's the drug that helps. So the Rebbeinu Shalom, he knows the Yetzer Hara. He created it. And he said that the only way, each person according to his Madriga, the only way a person can escape from the Yetzer Hara is through the toiling in Torah. So this is the perhaps Eliezer saved himself by being a loyal servant to his master, to Avram. By the way, it's fascinating. He says, Eved, the first statement of there's a nice word about it. He says that when he comes, they tell Eliezer to tell his story. No, they invite him to eat food. So Eliezer says, "V'oichel ad shedibarti dvar." I saw the Baal. It's not so far developed. The Baal Turim says, "V'oichel ad shedibarti dvar." It's a remes. I can't eat before the dibur because I have to make a bracha. V'oichel ad shedibarti dvar. I saw once. As they said. So another pshat Hasidim, they say, I have to daven mincha. I have to be mispal. So he tells him, Lavan tells him, so he says, daven, no, daven up, daven. So he says, no, Eliezer, Eved Avrom Anoichi. I'm an Eved of Avrom that was matakan tefillah. It doesn't go by me so fast, daven up daber. It will take me some time. Eved Avrom Anoichi. It doesn't go by me daber. Daven up. Eved Avrom Anoichi. I'm an Eved of Avrom. I have to buy us. The tefillah is a big avodah by us tefillah. It doesn't go stop.
First the mikveh.
Eved Avrom Anoichi. But part of this battles, when you see the Balaturim, it's not so far from the Balaturim says, not bad, the brachas, it says, talking about tefillah. So, David, don't make your brachas already. Brachas are not, it's not something 1, 2, 3, it's not like. I'll call upon him, the first statement of Eliezer is Eved Avrom. And we know that Avrom put everything in the hands of Eliezer. Everything. All his belongings and everything. Eliezer could have come and made himself like, he's a big dignified ambassador in the house of Avram. And that's the loyalty of Eliezer. The first thing he says is, it's nothing that's not mine. It's nothing to do with me. Everything is Avram. I'm only an Eved. I'm nothing. It's a mashal to us too. Afterwards too, after he completes his shlichus, it already it says he puts already Rivka on the Gamal. It says, and she goes after Eliezer. Again it says, Vayikach ha'eved as a Gamal. Ha'eved. He's an Eved in the beginning of his shlichus, and he's an Eved after he finishes his shlichus. An Eved, and so what's the Shvach and Moshe Rabbeinu? When the Torah writes about the Ptira of Moshe Rabbeinu, Vayomas Moshe Eved Hashem. That's the biggest shvach. That he attributes the Eved, he attributes not only all his physical accomplishments and all his physical acquisitions, but he attributes whatever he accomplished in Buchnius as well, it's all to the master. And that's with this power, Eliezer was able to accomplish his shlichus. Because the Svarim say that Eliezer had a very difficult shlichus, because Rivka was to be the mother of Klal Yisrael. And Rivka, because where was Rivka to be found? Like all Kedusha comes out, is always hidden in a great klipa. And he had to abstract the holy neshama of Rivka from the bias of Tumah where she was. And he needed for this power, the power of Avraham Avinu. And only because he was an Eved Avraham, if he wouldn't have been a total Eved, so he couldn't have done it. And they attributed the Mefarshim to there's an interesting Kahora. I saw two different shotim. You know that Eliezer was hoping from one point that maybe Avraham wouldn't go to this, or maybe they wouldn't agree, the family of Avraham, and perhaps he had a daughter, and maybe his daughter will become the mother of Knesset Yisrael. Ulai lo toveh vayishal alechet achai. What will be then? He says to Avraham Avinu. So this story is told twice. Once it's told when he actually said it, and there the Torah writes Ulai with a vav. Maybe she won't want to come to me. When he's speaking already in the house, and he's telling over the story of his conversation with his master Avraham, there the Torah writes Elai, Ulai with Alavav, which is a Kriyuk Siv. Ulai, maybe she won't come to me, but it's without a vav, so it's Elai. Elai, there's a remez that maybe Elai, maybe for me, maybe my daughter. So all the Mefarshim ask, why did the Torah be maramis this? There's a kind of question of Pshat. When did he have the Negi? When did he want that the daughter should come to him? When he said it for the second time or the first time? When in the story he's only telling over what happened. So where is the logical place that the Torah should hint this idea? The logical place is what?
It's the after.
The first time, not the second. Why in the story? What?
Oh.
You want to say the second place?
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. I'm really hoping to hear, but logically, I mean, this is only the story of what happened. What?
The business was with Nahor. I mean, he might have picked her out in the beginning that, if I'm getting the story, that, you know, Rivka's the girl, but you can't ask her to go before you get permission.
No. Ulai, he said to Avram Avinu. We're talking about, he's speaking to Avram Avinu. He's speaking to Avram Avinu and he's saying, Avram Avinu, what do I do? What do I do? You ask, telling me to bring this girl back. But supposing I don't succeed, so what's going to happen then? So that question had a hope that maybe Avram Avinu would tell him, then you can marry my daughter. He was hoping that Avram Avinu said that. I mean, so when did he have this machshava? When he spoke to Avram Avinu. There, the Torah...
And he said, no, you're cursed.
Yes, right. But the Torah only tells us that he had this machshava in the story when he's telling over his conversation to Besuel. He repeats the story. He says, I said to my master told me such, and I said to my master such and such. And there the Torah writes the ulai without a vav. The first time, when it actually took place, when he actually had the machshava, the Torah doesn't tell us that that he had this machshava in his mind. So that's not magical. When it actually took place chronologically, the Torah doesn't tell us. When he's telling over the story, the second time. So does it make sense, the question?
Even more complicated.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah,
sense.
he should have it the first time.
It should have been written the first time that he had the machshava. The answer is that Eliezer, a person does something, or says things, and he has such a thing. There's such a thing called Negiot. What is Negiot?
Right.
There are people that know always about Negiot. Everybody has everything that the Rav tells them.
Right.
No, the Rav only has Negiot. You know what Negiot is? What's
Not
Negiot?
right.
Negiot
Negiot?
is biased.
Oh.
Negiot comes the word negea. If you have, it's touching you.
Touching.
And the Negiot have the possibility to blind the person. When Eliezer said it at the time, perhaps the Isha won't want to come with me. He was hoping that the Isha won't want to come to him. But he didn't know at the time, when a person has an agenda, personal agenda, the personal agenda blinds the person to be aware. That's what Negiot is. When a person is nogea, an aid that's nogea b'dova, an aid that has Negiot is posulaidis. If he's saying, testifying in the Din Torah, he has something to profit as well, he's puzzled, he's disqualified. Because maybe he'll say something which isn't true, because he has something to profit from it. The Negiot blind the mind of a person. So when Eliezer said it the first time, he wasn't aware that he was hoping. He thought to himself, he's just being a loyal servant, he has to know what to do. So the Torah writes it with a vav. But when he's telling over the story, that's when he became aware. So that's where the Torah writes it. Now the question is, why did he become specifically aware when he's telling over the story? I saw two different mefarshim, but one mefarsh is like this. When Eliezer was actually fulfilling his shlichus, he checked himself. Is he doing it totally for the sake of Avram? There he had to check himself, he learned Musa, and remove all his personal negiot. If he would have had any, the second time is when he's in the process of, the first time he's getting the shlichus. In the second time he's in the process of fulfilling the shlichus. To fulfill the shlichus, he had to fulfill it with total trustworthiness, with total loyalty to his master. So he had to check himself that he's doing it totally for the sake of his master and nothing of himself. And that's when he became aware. And why did he have to do it totally? Then he had to do it as a Maisa Abdus. Then he had to put his Abdus, his loyalty, and his serving his master, the pile, to actually put it into action. And to be an Eved that has a Negiah is not an Eved. And a Shliach that has a Negiah Tzmid is not a Shliach.
Agenda.
If he has an agenda, yeah, very good, thank you, that's the word. The word for Negiah is he has a personal agenda. When he has a personal agenda, the personal agenda makes him.
Sometimes when you do something, you think of all other things. When you're actually saying it over, all of a sudden other thoughts come to your mind.
Sometimes when you have a personal,
could be blocked.
One second. Usually, when you have a personal agenda, but you're doing something else, you're unaware of the personal agenda. The bias makes you unaware. So, but when Eliezer, in order to succeed his shlichus, he had to succeed it as an Eved Avram. He need only the koyach of Avram, the power of Avram, could succeed the shlichus. Had he not done it totally b'tahara, totally but purely for the sake of Avram, then it wouldn't have worked. So when Eliezer came to actually apply and to fulfill his shlichus b'poyel, so he checked himself, and that's when he became aware of the negiah, and that's where the Torah writes it. That's why the Torah, because at the first time he wasn't aware, the second time he was aware. Why did he become aware? Because of his loyalty, because Eved Avram. Because now he was applying the Avis. An Eved is an Eved without negiyot. With the person, if he's a personal agenda, he's not an Eved. And the reason why Eliezer accomplished his shlichus, because he was tchilasik Eved, b'soifei Eved. And this is as well a message to us. We are all Avdei Hashem. We have to be a kolponim to the amount that a person can be misalek, remove his personal bias, his personal agenda, and do it for the sake of Hashem. He gets the koach. He as well gets the power to succeed the shlichus. Because the power of the mitzvah, the power of the mishaleach is in the shliach. So the amount that a person is a shliach of a Kodesh Baruch Hu, the amount that he takes away his personal agenda, he's a shliach. The amount that he's a shliach, he gets the power of the mishaleach, of the sender. And we are all in this world shluchei mitzvah. We are sent on a mitzvah of Hashem to accomplish the review of Kvod Shemayim through the toil of Torah.